Today we have verses 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 of chapter 11 of the Bhagavad Gita lined up. So the chapter 11 is the the Vishwarup Darshan Yog. The previous one was the Vibhuti Yog. So Vishwarup Darshan Yog is the vision of the cosmic form, the yoga of the vision of the cosmic form. Verse number 5. I will chant. श्रीभगवानुवाचः पश्य मे पार्थरूपाणि शतशोऽथ सहस्रशः नानाविधानि दिव्यानि नानावर्णाकृतीनि च. So the blessed Lord said, "Behold, O Partha, forms of me by hundreds and thousands of different kinds of divine, of various colors and shapes." Let's take this up word by word. Shri Bhagavan Uvach, Shri Bhagavan is the blessed Lord. Uvach said, Pashya, see or behold, me, my, Partha is a name for Arjun, son of Prithu. O Partha, Rupani, forms, plural. Shat Saha, in hundreds. At, and Sahasrashaha, in thousands. Nana Vidhani. Nana is different, Vidhani kinds. So Nana Vidhani becomes of different kinds. Divyani, divine. Nana Varna Kritini. So Nana is different. Varn is color. Kritini is shapes. So Nana Varna Kritini becomes of various colors and shapes. Cha and. So the verse translates to, the Lord said, "Behold, O Partha, forms of me by hundreds and thousands of different kinds of divine, of various colors and shapes." So let's chant it together. Shri Bhagavanuvachaha Pasya me Partha Rupani Shadshotha Sahasrasha Nana Vidhani Divyani Nana Varna Kritini Cha. So till verse 4, Arjun had been requesting that please show me your, give me a glimpse of your cosmic view if it is possible for me to see it. So Krishna accedes to Arjun's request. And in this verse, he agrees to show his divine form. Krishna is telling Arjun what all he will see or he can see in his cosmic form, which is the entire creation. And it is in his body. Krishna says, please see in me hundreds and thousands of forms, endless varieties of divine things, of all colors and shapes. So it's like saying, see whatever you want to see, different forms, colors, smells, taste, touch, sounds, etc. Whatever it is you desire to see, you can see. All are divine, resplendent, dynamic. You can see them all in my form. Now, the point to be noted is that throughout the Bhagavad Gita, we've seen that Krishna praises Arjun frequently. And he refers to Arjun as a dear one, his beloved, or a dear friend. And he treats him as a great devotee and a friend. So Lord Krishna is acceding to Arjun's request because Krishna considers Arjun, deserving to view his cosmic form, and he is telling him what all he can see. In verse number 5, this is what it is. Moving on to verse number 6. Pasya adetyan vasun rudran Ashvano marutstata bahuna yadrishta purvani pasharyani bharata. So he continues and says, behold Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, the twin Ashwins, also Maruts. Behold many wonders never seen before, O Bharat. So this is what the verse number 6 translates to. Now let's take this up word by word. Pashya is like the previous verse, behold. Adityan, so Adityas, which is plural. Vasun, Vasus. Rudran, again plurals. Ashvano is two. Dvivachan, Ashvana, two Ashvins. Marut, Taha, the Maruts. Tatha also. Bahuni, many. Adrishta Purvani. Adrishta is not seen, Purvani earlier. So Adrishta Purvani becomes never seen before. Pashya, behold. Ascharyani, wonders. Bharat, O Bharat. Name for Arjun as a descendant of the mighty Bharat race. So this is what the word by word translation is. Grammatically correct English, behold Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, twin Ashwins, also Maruts. Behold many wonders never seen before, O Bharat. So let's chant it together. Pashyadetyan Vasun Rudran Ashwino Marutstata Bahunaya Drishta Purvani Paschascharyaani Bharata. So Krishna is continuing to tell Arjun what all he can see in his cosmic form, which is within his body. Okay. So Krishna draws Arjun's attention to the various celestial deities which we had actually covered in the Vibhuti Yoga chapter, which were his, he had identified from these categories the best as being his Vibhuti. Now, so you may refer to verses 21 and 23 of chapter 10, right? So other than the Ashwins, we had covered the Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, and Maruts there. I'll briefly recap them here so that we can actually understand what all is being promised by Krishna, what all is he showing to Arjun. Now, Dev is the gods, okay. And the word means something that, some power that illumines us or shows us the way. So gods and goddesses refer to the various powers that sustain us or the various characteristics of that unmanifested Brahman, that one supreme reality, which manifests itself in the universe in as different powers. So to that extent, the Devs are many, and they represent the smaller ideals in life or the smaller or relative goals. And also because we can perceive only through our senses. The entire knowledge that we get is through our sense organs or the Gyan Indriya. The Dev also refers to our senses. So in that context, the word is interchangeable. And the celestial gods that are being referred to here are the Rudras, Vasus, Adityas, and Maruts, and of course the Ashwini, twin Ashwin gods. Now, I'm just briefly summarizing the verses 21 and 23 of chapter 10. So, Adityas were, there are 12 sons of goddess Aditi. And Adityas, they represent light and they illuminate the world. And at that point of time, we had done the 12 Adityas. The names are Dhata, Mitra, Aryaman. Rudra, Varun, Surya, Bhag, Vivaswan, Push, Savitaha, Twashtha, and Vishnu. And when Krishna was identifying himself, his vibhuti amongst the Adityas was, does anyone recollect what it was? Which one of these? It was Vishnu. And the 12 names actually represent also the 12 sons of the 12 months of the year. And to that extent, the Adityas are the controller of us, of the entire creation on earth. Then we moved on to the Vasus were covered there. Now the Vasus are the 8 demigods, which are Dhara or earth, Dhruv the pole star, Som moon, Apaha water, Anil wind, Anal fire, Pratyush dawn, and Prabhas luster. So these are the 8 Vasus that were that we had talked. And does anyone remember Krishna's Vibhuti in chapter 10 amongst the Vasus? It was
Dhruv.
Sorry?
Dhruv.
No, it was Pavak, the fire god, which is the mouth of the god. So Pavak is a fire god. And that's why even in our scripture, speech is very often associated with fire in our scriptures. Then Rudra. Now, Rudra means someone who eradicates problems from their roots. And therefore, Rudra, the gods, Rudra represents or refers to the 11 forms of Shiv. Har, Baharup, Trayambaka, and so on and so forth. And so these are the Rudras. So what Krishna is telling, that you will see all the Adityas, all the Vasus, and the Rudras in me. Okay. And of the Rudras, do you remember Krishna's Vibhuti was Shankar? He had identified with Shankar, which is the original form of Lord Shiv. Then the Maruts. The Maruts were the 7 group of winds which flow in space. And that also is being promised to be shown by Krishna to Arjuna. And Krishna in his Vibhuti had identified with Marichi, or the gentle breeze, which was his Vibhuti amongst the Maruts. Now the Ashwins are the twin gods associated with medicine and health sciences as per our traditional knowledge systems. Now, so you can see what Krishna is saying, that you can see them also. I will show you Ashwins also, the twin Ashwins. Okay. Now, do you remember, does anyone recollect how we had discussed Ashwins some time back? And how are they relevant in the context of the Mahabharata? Anyone remembers? They were, you remember Kunti would had invoked various gods to give her children, right? So she had invoked, so she had 3 sons, and then her who was a consort, the second consort, she felt that she does not have any children. So she requests Kunti to share that mantra, which was given to her by Lord Sage Durvasa, to invoke gods to have children. Madri, right? No, not Madri. Who is Kunti's? It was Madri, right? Anyone can correct me on this one? Anyway, so now Kunti had given that mantra to Madri, but she said that you can use it only once. Okay. So what she did was she invoked the twin Ashwins. So Ashwins were the father of Nakul and Sahadev, actually. So that is how they are relevant. Now, apart from these celestial gods, Krishna is also promising to show many wonders and marvels that have never been seen before. Also, he is referring to Arjun as Bharat, which is the original name of the country. Bha means light. So you have Bhaskar, Abha, etc. Rat is someone that is Rama hua or is revels in that light. Okay, so the word Bharat means one who is reveling in light or that divine light, or it implies a nation that is engaged in the search of knowledge and seeking knowledge and reveling in knowledge. And Bharat, therefore, is a descendant of this great Bharat race. With that, let's move on to verse number 7. Ihekastham jagat kritsnam पश्याध्य सचराचरम मम देहे गुडाकेशः यचान्यदृष्टमेच्छसि. So Krishna goes on to say that, behold, now in my body, the entire universe with the moving and the non-moving centered in one. And whatever else you want to see, O Gudakesh. So let's take this up word by word. Iha, here. Ekastham, collected in one or centered in one. Jagat, world. Kritsnam, whole, entire. Pashya, behold. Adhya, now. Sacharacharam. So chara is moving, acharam is not moving. So sacharacharam means the moving and the non-moving. Mam, my. Deh, body. Gudakesh is a name for Arjun. And we will discuss this. Yat, what, cha, and anyat, anything else, others. Drishtum, to see. Ichhasi, you wish. So Krishna says, behold, now in my body the entire universe with the moving and the non-moving centered in one, and whatever else you desire to see, O Gudakesh. Let's chant it together. Ihekastham jagat kritsnam pashyadha sacharacharam mam dehe gudakeshah yachanya drishtumechasi. So Krishna is referring to Arjuna as Gudakesh. Gudakesh means one who has conquered sleep. So Arjun had earned this name due to his alertness and dynamism. Arjun had overcome sleep, sloth, and laziness. So Krishna is requesting Arjun to make use of this alertness to behold his form. Now, the Lord is saying that you see all this, what the maruts and everything, whatever is moving, non-moving. Arjun is wondering where to see it. So as to Arjun's wonderment as to where to see it, Krishna says it is in his body. Mam dehe, it's in my body. Now, to actually understand what is happening here, we actually need to understand the concept of space and time, which are actually concepts of the mind. And the modern scientists are actually coming very much to those conclusions, as I shared with you, I think, many chapters ago. So space and time are concepts of our mind. They're intellectual concepts. And to some extent, this evidence you find in your deep sleep, or when they don't exist, or even in your dreaming state, you will find that the concept of time and space do not exist. You could be in India at one time and suddenly you could be sitting in London. You could be old and then you suddenly dream that you are a child running through the fields. So these are concepts of the mind. And if we remove the concept of space, we will actually be left with one homogeneous mass, and we will start seeing things together. At a very gross level, I will try to give you I'll give you an example so that you can try to conceptualize what is being said here and how it's possible to see what is happening on that battlefield at Kurukshetra, where Krishna is showing his Vishwaroop. See, suppose I have 100 anklets, 100 pairs of gold anklets. Now, it is the space which is separating them. So you can identify this. This is one pair, this is two pair, and so on, 100 pairs. Even within the pair, I can identify this is one anklet and this is the second anklet of this pair with this, they match in their shape and size. So they exist as separate entities because of the space between them. If we remove the space between them, that means we merge them into one large gold mass or gold biscuit. So that mass will have the bells, chains, hooks, etc. of the separated 100 anklets that we were looking at. So it is the space which is creating the difference between for us. So similarly in Krishna's body, it is possible for Arjun to see the entire universe, everything that is moving and non-moving, once he gets over that concept of space. And this is what Krishna is trying to implore Arjun to move towards. Arjun's knowledge is confined to the world. Krishna is imploring him to see beyond the world as well. And he's saying that not only what I've covered or described, but whatever else you want to see, you will see. It is a vision that Arjun will never ever see again. So he should make the most of whatever the Lord has to show to him. So that was verse number 7. Let's move on to verse number 8. न तु मां शक्यसे द्रष्टुम् अनेनैव स्वचक्षुषा दिव्यं ददामि ते चक्षुः पश्य मे युगमैश्वरम्. Then Krishna says, but you cannot see me with these eyes of yours. I give you divine eyes. Behold my majestic, opulent yoga. So let's take this up word by word. Na, not, tu, but, mam, me, shakyase, can, drishtam, see, anen, with this, ev, truly, swa, chakshusha, swa, your, chakshu is eyes. So swa, chakshusha, with your own eyes. Divyam, divine, dadami, give, I give. Te, to you, chakshu, I, pashya, behold, me, mine, yog is yog, aishwaram, majestic, supreme, that yog you see. So let's chant it together. Na tu mam shakyase se, sorry, I'll repeat. Na tu mam shakyase drishtum अनेनैव स्वचक्षुषा दिव्यं ददामि ते चक्षुः पश्य मे युगमैश्वरम्. So Krishna points out the problem. He says, I can show you what you want to see. But the problem is that you cannot see me. So in the last two verses, Krishna has been saying that, what all Arjun can see in him. But Arjun cannot see. Why? Because he's got these worldly eyes or material eyes. He can only see the world, right? And therefore, he cannot see what Krishna is trying to show to him. And you may recollect, chapter 9, verse 11, Krishna had said that fools disregard me, dwelling in the human form, not knowing my supreme nature, the Lord of beings. So, what is happening here is that Arjun is continuing to see that human form of Krishna, and he cannot see beyond that human form. The import is that the Lord's divine form is not visible to our material eyes. With our material eyes, we can only see the differences. We cannot see the oneness. And this brings us to the very interesting concept of one. Now one as a number is number one. Okay. And that means that when I'm in a competition, I want to be number one. I want to be the best of everything, So that is one concept of one. The other is oneness, when we see everything in that one, in that Brahman. And actually, as we had discussed even earlier, in the Vibhuti Yoga, actually Krishna was one to many. And in this chapter, we have many to one concept, right? So with our eyes, we can see the differences. And with our mind and intellect, we find it very difficult to be one with everything. We can easily embrace, numbers, differences, or plurality, but we find it difficult to embrace oneness. Now, the physical eyes are also insufficient to see that universal form where all the differences merge into that one. The concept of space is gone because our ordinary intelligence and mind is unequipped to comprehend it. And therefore, Krishna says that I will give you that divine vision. I will give you eyes. By that, he means I will give you that vision by which it is possible to behold my universal form. All right. So that is the sight that he is talking about. So that Arjun can see his yoga. That means oneness or one in many, and his Aishwarya, the opulence. And the other way around, it means many in one. So you can see both. And the granting of the vision, divine vision, is by the grace of the God. So not only is God giving Arjun the divine eyes, but he's also giving him the divine sight. See, eyes can only see. Then it has to be registered and comprehended by a mind and intellect. The mind and intellect should also have the power to comprehend that divinity. So all this is being given to Arjun by Lord Krishna. It is only when we or Arjun is equipped with these divine senses, mind, and intellect, which is given by the grace of God, we can see his divine or Lord's divine majestic opulence, think of it, and comprehend it. So divine eyes is just a vision which is beyond the materialistic perceptions. What Krishna is doing, Krishna is temporarily raising Arjun's ability to conceptualize the magnitude of that transcendental being. It's just like, our physical eyes. What do we see? The dark, dreary world. Maybe some days you have sunlight, so you feel good. So, but we mostly find it a dread in the world. The divine sight allows us to see magic in the same environment. So the same dog, you'll say, oh, wow, look at the intelligence it has. The same sun, the same stars, the same clouds, the same rain. You will see magic in that. So you will, with divine sight, when you connect with that Brahman, or of course it has to be supported by that Brahman, we see magic in the same environment and the same situation. And actually, that is one of the most important takeaways of this particular chapter, that we do not need to change our location, position in life. We just need to change the way we are looking at life or our disposition towards life, and the same life will start giving us joy and pleasure. With that, let's move on to the last verse for the day, verse number 9. Sanjaya uvachah evamuktava tato rajan mahayogeshvaro hari darshayamasa parthaya paramam rupam maheshwaram. So Sanjaya spoke, O king, having spoken thus, the Lord of Yoga, Hari, showed his supreme divine form to Partha. Let's look at the words. Sanjaya, name, proper noun, we'll discuss. Uvach said, Evam, thus, Uktva, having spoken. Tat, then, Rajan, king, O king. Mahayogeshwar, the great Lord of Yoga. Hari, name for Krishna, Lord himself, that God himself. The Drishyayamas showed Parthaya, to Parth or for Parth. Paramam, supreme. Rupam, form. Aishwaryam, divine. So Sanjaya spoke, O king, having spoken thus, the Lord of Yoga, Hari, showed his supreme divine form to Partha. Let's chant it together. Sanjaya uvachah eva muktva tato rajan mahayogeshvaro hari darshayamasa parthaya paramam rupameshwaram. So, can anyone explain how Sanjay comes into the picture here? I mean, who was Sanjay and how he comes into the picture here? If anyone can tell.
Yeah, Sanjay is the one who's, I mean, when the Gita starts, he is the one who's telling the Pandu what is going on, because he is blind and he is describing what is going on the Kurukshetra field.
Yes,
So,
correct. Yes, not to Pandu, but to Dhritarashtra, the blind.
sorry, to Dhritarashtra, who's blind.
Yeah.
The Kaurav's father, Kaurava's father.
Kaurav's father. Now, see, now imagine, we have to also start imagining, let our imagination, go and see and comprehend actually what is being said. Now, see, imagine Krishna says that I'm showing you my divine form, and you can see, moving, non-moving, the entire universe, the Maruts, Rudras, Vasus, etc. in my form, and whatever else you want to see. So Krishna cannot talk. He is showing his divine form. Arjun is too overwhelmed, because with the divine eyes, with that power, he can now see, and he's so overwhelmed that he cannot talk. So both the participants, or both the persons between whom the Bhagavad Gita is actually a conversation, both of them are rendered speechless, if I may say so. So Krishna cannot talk because he's turned himself into the cosmic vision, and Arjun cannot talk because he's stunned by that cosmic vision. He's never had this experience. So who can continue? And therefore, Sanjay comes in, Sanjay takes over. This magnificent splendor is on display on the battlefield, but the main characters are unable to speak, and therefore, Sanjay carries on the narrative. Now, Dhritarashtra was the blind father of the Kauravas and the king of Hastinapur. And because of his blindness, I mean, he was not eligible to be on the battlefield, and he remained in his palace in Hastinapur. And the Mahabharata was being waged where? In Kurukshetra. But Dhritarashtra wanted to know what was happening on the battlefield. So the great sage Ved Vyas used his yogic powers to give Sanjay, who was a counselor to the king, Dhritarashtra, the same divine vision which actually Lord gave to Arjun. So the important point is that Arjun saw the divine vision, and the only other person who saw it was actually Sanjay, right? Also, when, the way Sanjay is talking, see, oh, king, having spoken thus, the great lord of yoga, Hari himself, showed his divine form to Partha. He's trying, he's a counselor to the king. So to that extent, he's a subject, or he's much junior in the hierarchy, and he cannot really tell the king that what you are doing, this entire war actually can be stopped, and what you're doing is not right. So he is actually trying to impress or suggest the king, Dhritarashtra, that how Arjun's complete surrender to the Lord has led him to seeing this vision of the cosmic vision of the Lord. The Lord is on the Pandav side. So their victory is certain. I mean, this is implied when he's talking, when Sanjay is talking like this. He's trying to actually tell or imply to Dhritarashtra that you can still call off the war and we don't need to actually go into the fight. And Dhritarashtra but is blinded by his attachment for the sons, and he does not see all this, what is being said. See, the entire army, which was the Kaurav army, were fighting for the king because they felt it was their dharma to fight for the king. Many among them were against what was happening, but because as per their dharmic duties, they were required to fight for the king. That's why they were fighting for it. Sanjay here cannot say all this openly. He's just suggesting it. So, in the next 4 verses, actually, Sanjay continues to speak. And since he is the only other person other than Arjun who saw the Lord's cosmic vision, he continues to describe the cosmic vision till the time Arjun recovers and is able to continue with the narrative. So Sanjay will continue the next few verses to describe Dhritarashtra what Arjun is actually seeing. Now, you may recollect that Arjun had referred to Sri Krishna as Yogeshwar in the 4th verse of this chapter. Right? In the previous chapter, he called him Yogan or master of yoga. Then Arjun had referred in verse 4 of this chapter as the Lord of Yoga. Sanjay is referring to the Lord as Mahayogeshwar. So he's adding the superlative great to the address of the Lord of all yogis. So Sanjay is referring to Krishna as the great Lord of yoga. And with that, let's conclude our today's session.